You know, one year for Lent, I tried to do 40 days with just bread and water.
Bread and water.
I thought a priest in our diocese did that for Lent one year and lost like 120 pounds. And
He was starving.
Yeah, he was starving himself, just bread and water.
Yeah.
And I was like maybe a freshman in high school, and I thought this would be interesting to people if I were to do this for Lent. So I did it for maybe one meal, and then immediately my teachers like told my parents, like, hey, your son's only eating bread and water. This is obviously a horrible idea, and you should it only lasted like one lunch. But I really built it up, like, guys, I'm going to lose so much weight, dude.
It's breaking bread. Cheers. Thanks for
Cheers,
being here.
man. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Right from the airport, like a baller.
Yeah, dude. Lugging around a suitcase in L.A.
It looks like you have 2 suitcases. What's that second one?
That's my backpack.
Backpack suitcase?
Yeah,
Is there a dog in it?
Well, there's a CPAP machine. There's there's all kinds of weird stuff. I wanted a backpack that could double as a duffel bag. So I just got that one. That's probably the nicest piece of luggage I own. That backpack.
Yeah, it's pretty. Does it have a hard frame?
It's got it's like a material you've never even felt before. It's like,
jeez.
It's like it's got the strength of steel, the flexibility of cotton. It's unbelievable.
Who tipped you off on this?
You know, I did a lot of research on Google. We were just talking about Google. Yeah. Well, I had my cat threw up in my last backpack, and I just put off cleaning it to the point where it was like hardened on there. And I was like, this is a sign. Let me just invest in let me get a nice backpack.
Were you still traveling with it when it had the cat?
No, it was at home. It was at home, and then yeah.
You never know with comedians. They could be like, I know the cat threw up on it. I cleaned it as best I could, but I've got to get to Seattle.
Put my laptop back in it. Yeah. Oh no, dude. It was just on the floor of my living room for weeks.
Congratulations on your special.
Thanks, man.
Signature dish, killing it on
Appreciate
YouTube.
it, dude. It's been fun.
Yeah, that's good.
It's been fun to have something to point people towards. I've never had a thing.
This is your first thing.
Yeah, it's my first thing.
Were you nervous
just
putting
go
it
look
out?
at that. Kind of.
I mean, it's very funny. You had to be pretty confident.
I felt good about it, yeah, but I felt good about the material. I remember it going well. I wasn't that diligent, like looking over it. I kind of just trusted them to because I hate watching myself, and so there's parts of it I've only really scrubbed through it, but
it's hard to look at it. Yeah, it's actually, you bring up a funny point. It's like when you ask a comedian, how'd you feel about putting this one out? What you're really asking is, how do you feel about yourself right now?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? If you're feeling really good about yourself, you're like, yeah, people are gonna really like it.
Yeah.
And if you're just feeling a little, a little weird, a little chubby, or a little whatever, you'd be like, I hope people like it.
Yeah. Do you? Because you put out, 5 hours now, 5 specials. Do you feel like, is that easier each time, or is it the same feeling?
It depends on the day, on the time that you're sending it out. Like. I was real. The one before this, I was like, oh yeah, this one's. I'm feeling great. This is gonna be, I feel totally good. I'll watch it all down and whatever. This one, I did hands off, and was like, I don't know, not feeling. I don't need to see myself all the time. I was just saying, every email that came through, I'm like, approved. Approved.
Yeah.
Let them have it. Put it in their hands, and the reception, I think, of this one was better than the one right before it.
Oh, that's great.
And it was completely hands-off, and just because I didn't feel like looking at my face.
Oh, that's awesome.
You know what I mean? So there's really... So I guess the answer to your question is it doesn't, I don't think you get stronger over time. I think you get more confident or whatever, but you also could just be in a month where you're not feeling it.
Yeah.
For yourself.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Are you a confident person in real life?
About certain things, yeah.
What were you in high school?
I was captain of the football team in high school. I did debate. I did mock trial. I was captain of the football team, but I wasn't as good at football as I could talk. That's what I really liked.
You could lead.
Once a year or one game the season, they would let a senior do a speech. before the game, and that was the best.
Right.
Yeah, I killed that speech.
Right.
I had a pretty mediocre season on the field, but I remember that. I put a lot of work into that speech.
Yeah, yeah.
It was on the 10th anniversary of Columbine.
Whoa.
And I liked the challenge of, let me do a speech about Columbine. And so my whole speech was about the Columbine massacre. This is in the locker room.
This is in the
before
locker room. You're getting ready to go out. And...
I read a story about a guy who was in the library when the worst part of the shooting happened.
Whoa.
And hid behind a table or something. And then later in life, he ended up taking his own life because he regretted.
Whoa.
He thought, every day I thought about what I didn't do in that room. So it sounds so silly now, but I thought, guys, let's not wake up tomorrow morning and think about what we didn't do tonight. I tried to tie it in. I mean, something so trivial as a game, to tie it into Columbine seems crazy, but I got to tell you, it was a pretty good speech.
That's a good writer.
So that's what I was always,
because you got to set it up. You got to set up Columbine.
Exactly.
You got to set up the scene of that library and what that kid was going through.
Totally.
And then.
And a lot of act-outs, too.
And you're in shoulder pads. And you're in shoulder pads about to go beat the shit out of people.
Yeah,
so how are you going to pull that back? That really is good writing.
It was a lot, yeah.
Holy cow.
I felt really good about it, man. So I always liked talking in front of people. I did mock trial. I was like really into mock trial in high school. I thought I might do that in college, and then I didn't do anything in college.
Lawyer is always a little bit of a flirtation with comics.
If you would have asked me freshman or sophomore year, I probably would have told you I'm going to go to law school.
Yeah.
But I never seriously worked towards it. Yeah, but I like ideas and speaking out loud. I used to love group presentations in college.
Yeah.
Well, we did a lot of group projects. I was in the business school, so there's a lot of group projects. And I used to tell these groups, I go, look, you're going to think I'm not contributing anything. But when the presentation happens, you're going to be happy I'm on the team.
Nice.
I told people that explicitly.
Yeah.
I was like, look, I'm just going to sit back. You do all the work. I'll deliver when the time comes.
Nice.
So I guess all the signs were there that I would do something like comedy.
So when did you poke out into comedy? Was it
there was
after
a group
college?
on campus in college called like the student stand-ups. And
what school is this?
This is Notre Dame.
Oh, you went to Notre Dame.
So there's the Notre Dame student stand-ups. I probably did 6 shows in college for all my friends.
Wow.
And I thought, I'm the best comedian who's ever lived. Like,
Yeah.
I'm murdering for these, talking about the dining hall and, making fun of like finance majors and stuff like that. Like, I had no idea what I was doing. And then I moved back to Nashville after college and started doing the open mics there for people who, did not have the same lived experiences as me. And I was bombing, dude.
Right.
And I was like, well, this is real comedy. I remember thinking, well, now I got to make strangers laugh. So,
why aren't they laughing about the quad?
I know. Y'all never been to a dining hall before? They're like, I'm 50. I didn't go to high school.
So wait, when you were in high school, were you, or just in your life when you were little, were you funny? Like, because...
Yeah, I was
or
never...
you became funny when you got to college?
I'll say I won wittiest in my senior superlative.
Wittiest.
So not class clown. I think there's a distinction between those two. I was never the guy like holding court at the lunch table.
Right.
I had friends that were so much funnier than me that could just tell stories and were just goofy.
Yeah.
I would have to think about it a little more.
Right.
And then I could be funny. And then I could deliver.
Right.
So never a class clown type.
Yeah. Yeah. Were you funny in your group of friends?
I think so.
Yeah.
I tried to be. You ever think about, I have so many friends that if they would have just chosen to do stand-up, they could probably be pretty good. But the only real differentiator is that I just chose to do it.
Yeah.
I had friends in college that were like so funny, and they're still funny, and now they're just, I don't even know what they're doing. They're banking or something.
Yeah. But there is another element, though, that, you were able to get up in front and do these speeches and...
Yeah, I guess so.
Ruin everybody's good time before the football game.
During the football game, a lot of times.
Remember Columbine on the kickoff.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, but that is a thing. Like you still, I think there is a built-in, I can stand in front of people and not freak out.
Yeah, I'm comfortable just holding people's attention for a little bit. I had a few specials memorized word for word as a kid that my dad would make me perform for the family, like in the kitchen.
Which ones?
Brian Regan's Comedy Central special.
Nice.
All the Fig Newton bit, all that stuff I had memorized. And then Sweat the Small Stuff by Kevin James, his Comedy Central special.
Wow.
I had those memorized. I mean, I could perform any bit from those two.
That's amazing. And Kevin's is physical.
Very physical. Yeah, a lot of that.
Yeah.
He used to like do the splits and stuff too, right? Like he was crazy physical.
I really think he's one of the absolute funniest physical comics.
Yeah, and you never
in
think
his
that.
acting and in his stand-up. He's just, I remember early on at the comic strip, he, hadn't popped yet, but he did a thing about, he had a bit about shopping for greeting cards.
Yes, that's
right.
That's the closer of the special.
That's
yeah.
the closer. Holy cow! Just the way he's like looking through,
And the woman's flipping through it and like getting emotional.
and he's getting faster and faster. And it's just like he is just a genius at that.
It's so great.
Yeah.
So I had that memorized top to bottom, dude. My family got sick of that
That's so funny.
Yeah.
I used to do Gilda Radner from SNL, which I know it sounds gay, but it was, she would do Rosanna Dana. Do you
Okay.
remember that character at
No.
all? Yeah. And, she would do this character, and it was like all about minutia and getting like grossed out. You ever have a fuzzy belly button fuzz? And she would like kind of go, and I would do that for the family.
I love that.
Yeah. It's so weird, isn't it? Like you're just like, there are grown-ups here having a party, and you're just going to walk in and do Kevin James' act. Right? On paper, it's a weird thing to do.
Yeah, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. But I think you like showing your kids off a little bit, right?
Yeah,
You're like,
and you though, but you like being a show-off.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I did music too. I did music stuff with my siblings. So anytime we could perform for people, we would.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So then you start, so college, you just decide, so what was the first inkling though? Like if you're not really, you're doing kind of stuff, what made you say, I'm going to go do that
I
stand-up
think
thing?
once you
Was it
realize there's no barrier to entry, you're like, oh, I can just do it.
I know. That is the, I'm just making sure that my daughter isn't locked out of my house.
That's good.
She went away to college, and
Yeah.
now she's back for 2 minutes, and I'm her personal assistant. I'm sorry, she is in the house. She just needs to make sure that the gardener's not coming so she can sit outside with no clothes on. You have children?
Yeah, my daughter's 5 months old.
5 months.
Yeah, it's exciting.
Congratulations.
Man. Thanks, dude.
Man,
It's
what
been
a
really
ride.
fun. It's been really fun.
Take a lot of pictures. You're not going to remember any
We're
of them.
taking a ton. I mean, I feel silly. I look back, I looked at my phone, I have pictures from like 2 months ago. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine having the perspective of, a lot of years to look back on. It's probably wild.
Yeah, the perspective is what happened?
Yeah.
That's really the perspective.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It's Joe has how old is Yannick? A year and a half?
2 years.
2 years.
Yeah.
And
It feels like a lifetime away.
yeah, like if
two,
you look at
yeah.
pictures of him now, like he updates his phone picture every once in a while with this kid's dominating his feed. And it's so crazy how different he is. It changes so much.
Even still, 3 months is wild at this age.
Yeah, man. Yeah. She's like 2 years. That's like a real person.
Yeah.
That's crazy, dude.
Yeah. I think I might have said this to you when we talked last time, but I really, my sweet spot, and I knew it was going to start really getting fun, is when you can sit in a diner with them
Oh, man.
and
I
just
can't wait.
order and have a conversation. Like that for me was the
Wow.
best. Like, and all of a sudden she's like, just, I don't really like Ariel.
I mean,
Dipping
yeah.
a French fry and
That's awesome.
giving
man.
her opinion.
Yeah.
That is the best.
We do solid foods for the first time in 2 weeks. So I'm so
Whoa.
excited. Put her in her high chair. and
Yeah.
That feels like a big step for us,
In your special, you have a big run on a legendary hot dog.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so funny.
I stumbled across accidentally.
Yeah.
I'm so
I love hot dogs.
I'm so naive about it. I didn't travel a lot growing up. Our family just didn't travel. And I guess I'm just not intellectually curious enough to learn about stuff on my own. So comedy's brought me to all these places. I'm learning about all these cities, and I don't know about the signature dish of different places. I know of the Philly cheesesteak, and I don't know. Does Reuben count for New York? I guess I don't know. I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Okay.
Pizza.
Oh, pizza.
Yeah.
Well, that's Italy gets pizza, right? I know New York.
We're in the United States now.
Okay, that's for sure. I don't think I'm doing the
Little Italy.
I'm not doing the Rome funny bone anytime soon either. So I was in Seattle, and outside a baseball game, I got a hot dog, and the guy asked what did I want on it, and I was in a mood, or so I said, just do it up, man, just go after it. And he looked excited, and he made me a Seattle dog, and I didn't know it at the time. I thought this is the best hot dog I've ever had in my life. Cream cheese and onions on a hot dog. This guy's crazy.
Cream cheese is insane.
So I told everybody about this hot dog, and then I came back. This is all true the way I tell it in the bit. I came back 2 years later. I went to a baseball game. I was like, I got to go find that hot dog stand again and ask the guy to make me the Aaron Weber special. And then I get there and I see the menu, and that's the only thing he makes is the Seattle dog. So I've been hyping up.
Like, but wait. I'm sorry to do this with you with your bit, but when you go back to him, you get like kind of emotional, and you're like, you don't understand.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know. You see a lot of people, but I've been thinking about you for 2 years.
You changed my life, dude. I've been talking about your hot dog stand all over North America.
You went nuts. You put cream cheese on it.
I go, yeah, you won't even remember this, but I remember. Do it for me again. And it's the one item I felt like such
all
an
he makes.
idiot.
He's been doing that for
Yeah. You know what's funny is that guy DM'd me.
He did? When he saw the special?
I put the bid out on Instagram, and it went really viral in the Seattle area.
Cool.
A ton of views, and this guy DM'd me and said, I think I'm the guy you're talking about. So many people have sent this to me, and I think it's the guy.
Wow.
So he said, next time you're in Seattle, come by and we'll do like a thing. So I'm going to go see him.
That's amazing.
It's pretty crazy.
It's so crazy. I had a very similar moment when I went to this deli in New York that I go to all the time, and I'll usually hit it on my way back after I've been drinking and get a sandwich. And I rolled in one night, and I'm like, I just want you to know I've had a lot of sandwiches, but you make seriously, you make a great sandwich. And he looked at me like, what do you want?
No appreciation.
And I went back several times, like since and sober, and this guy wants nothing to do with me.
Wow.
Yeah, I was giving him all this love, and he was like, just, you're making my night longer.
Was that a 24-hour diner?
Yeah.
Do you feel like it's so sad those are going away all over the country?
I feel like the whole country's just going to bed.
I used to love going to Walmart at 2 a.m. And that's just gone. They close at 11 everywhere now.
Jeez.
And that's such a it was a big thing on the road. You know, Walmart, at least Walmart's open. Let's go check out what they got going on. And now they're just not, man.
Even New York is like closing up early. Mm-hmm. My wife and I went to a musical, and you usually went out to eat after, and everything was closed.
Wow.
It was like, what? New York?
Yeah.
It's COVID. It's all after COVID.
Yep. It's really only Waffle Houses in the South that are still, they're 24/7 everywhere.
Jeez.
I remember the moment I thought, oh, this COVID thing might be real, was I went to a Waffle House and they were like, we're takeout only. And I go, oh, this is insane.
Yeah.
I've never even heard of this.
You people don't get scared.
Yeah. I thought this would be the one place I could get away from all this nonsense.
You come here to live with germs.
That was in rural Georgia.
Wow.
And the Waffle House was takeout only, and I thought something might be happening.
Jeez. I know. And it really, there's a lot of articles because we just hit 5 years.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I know, it is crazy. And they're talking about like the long-term effects of it all. And a lot of it is just that we got so used to being away from people and inside and early, and it just, we need a whole nother generation of young people to come up and be like, no, we're going out.
Yeah. Well, that'll be the next wave, right?
Next wave.
We all rebel against our parents in some way. So that'll be the next wave.
They'll be like, all you nerds just staying in.
Exactly.
If at any point during our conversation you don't want to answer a question, or you feel like you've been asked it a bunch and you don't feel like talking about it, you can say, go to the list.
Okay, I can't imagine that'll happen, but that's good to know.
But it's good to know because it's good to change it up.
Just insane. I bet.
Yeah. Tell me. Here's a good question. Do you think that would you rather live at SeaWorld or Legoland?
Legoland.
Live there.
For sure.
Really?
Yeah, because I feel if I'm in Legoland, I can make modifications.
You're right. SeaWorld, you're just stuck.
I get my own setup going. Legoland. Yeah, SeaWorld I've never been. I've only heard bad things about it. I think it will probably creep me out if I went there. I bet it's fun on some level, but I don't know. I've been to like some sad zoos on the road that really make me think about it.
Yeah.
Went to the Little Rock Zoo in the middle of the summer, and I saw these penguins huddled up around a fan, and I thought, why are they? I thought, like an oscillating fan, and
That's so sad.
they don't need to be out here in Arkansas right now.
Oh, yeah.
Send them back to the Antarctica, wherever they live.
Just as the fan comes by, trying to get a little on
They
their
were
face.
huddled up in front of it, man.
Oh, that's sad. I know. I saw an elephant in the zoo out here, the LA zoo, and it was like chained, like its foot was, and it was just rocking back and forth, like in this little space, this big elephant, and you're with your kids, and you're just like,
No, he's having fun.
yeah, it's fun. Oh, he's dancing.
He's doing
Look,
the
he's
hokey
dancing.
pokey, yeah.
No, he's having a mental breakdown because he's in Burbank in 110 degrees.
You can see animals, a lot of them will just pace around the perimeter of where they're at, and that's just they have anxiety because they're trapped in there.
And the other argument is, well, you're teaching people about these animals, so then they like go and protect them in the wild.
And a lot of animals don't even exist in the wild anymore. They only really exist in the...
Yeah.
Now, I have been to great zoos where you feel like, oh, this feels nice. So I don't want to trash all zoos.
Yeah, San Diego Zoo.
Yeah. Columbus, Ohio has a great one. I've heard the St. Louis one is really good. So, yeah, I think they're
treat 'em
doing
well.
good work. I hope.
Yeah.
I would hate to find out they're all just torture camps for these animals, you know?
I know. But, you know, a job's a job, right? I went to SeaWorld once with my kids, and it was right when it was all starting to come out.
Okay.
Like, maybe this isn't cool.
Okay.
It was that period when the whales started eating the trainers.
Had that documentary come out yet? Blackfish or whatever it was called?
No, it hadn't yet.
Okay.
It was, but it was on the cusp.
Okay. So this is like McDonald's before Supersize.
Yeah.
Oh, that's exciting. Yeah.
The vibe was changing.
Yeah.
But my wife is like really a lover of all animals. And I don't remember her being bumped by SeaWorld. I think she was pretty just happy that her kids were amused for an afternoon.
I bet it. You know what? I've never been to these places with kids.
Yeah.
I bet that completely changes things.
Yeah.
Because you see it with the innocence of their eyes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And they're used to being lied to. So when you say the elephant's dancing, they're just like, all right, I guess he's dancing. What's the most embarrassing thing on your phone that you wouldn't want me to see?
Oh, man.
Be honest.
Embarrassing thing on my phone. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm in a text thread with some friends. It's no joke, like 30, whatever the maximum amount allowed on an iPhone. It's like 30 plus dudes.
Whoa. From what
And
part of your life?
From college and right after college.
Okay.
And every now and then, it'll go dark for months. And then every now and then, it's just nonstop for 2 or 3 days of just the most horrific stuff you've ever seen. So that's pretty embarrassing. That's one of those, like, if my phone ever gets confiscated, I go, let me delete one thread on that text.
Do you have a name for that group?
Yeah, it's an inside joke about this kid, Angelo. It's called something to do with Angelo's mom. It's the name of the... I'm not proud of any of it. But if you scroll through, I've liked a lot of this. Yeah. I'm trying to engage, you know? Trying to keep in touch with these guys. Yeah.
I think that's pretty good.
You know, there's a lot of... I'm not embarrassed by like the music I listen to or anything like that, or the shows I watch or anything.
Right.
I used to be a little bit. Where now I just kind of... I remember when I got a minivan, I was like 25.
Right.
And I got a minivan because it was the most practical car I could ever imagine to have. And I thought, you know, if I'm on the road doing comedy, maybe I'll sleep in the back.
Right.
And if I were younger than that, I would have thought, well, I don't want to be seen in the minivan. But you get to a point where you're like, I just don't care, dude.
Right.
So I feel that way about all the music and stuff that might be like embarrassing and lame.
Yeah.
I listen to like classical music sometimes and like
Yeah.
movie soundtracks and stuff like
Yeah.
stuff that's a little corny and cheesy, but I don't care anymore.
Yeah,
dude.
no, it's good. But there is a difference. Like I went through a period where I was telling my daughter, you know, she'd be self-conscious, you know, as a teenager or whatever, and worried about what people are thinking. And for a while I was telling her, nobody is worried about you. No one's looking at you. No one worries about you. They were all in their own head with their own stuff. They're not even, you think the whole world's looking at you. They're not.
Totally.
I don't think that's right.
Okay.
I think the reality
You
is
think they're all thinking about her?
they're all looking at it. We're all looking at everybody. And we're all saying horrible things when you see people walk by, and we're judgy. And you're like, look at that fat ass and nice Crocs, and you know, look at this jackass, and look at this moron. So they are saying those things. Your instinct is correct, but you can get to a point where you shouldn't care about that.
That's so interesting. I don't know if I agree. I mean, can you think of, you've had like embarrassing moments in public where you drop something or something. I don't know. You do something embarrassing.
Yeah.
How many of those moments can you name for a perfect stranger that you remember seeing?
You've seen people do dumb.
You've seen like a stranger do
Right.
something embarrassing in public. I don't know if you remember those things.
They don't stick, but while it's happening,
you notice it in the
you're
moment.
like, look at this idiot.
You know, the difference is now everything's filmed with the phone. So it lives on forever. These are
Right.
just memories for you and me.
Yeah, that's right.
But I see it. I saw this morning leaving Nashville. There's a guy very drunk trying to get on the plane, and it was a 6:10 boarding.
Whoa.
time. And the guy is drunk, and I saw a guy discreetly filming him with his phone. He had his phone kind of popped up, and that's so normal now. But I don't know if I like that being the normal. You should be able to like embarrass yourself in public and it not be a video on the internet. Do you know what I mean?
I do, but now that you say it, do you think that it cleans up our activities? Do you think
doesn't seem to be, right?
Do you think people are maybe a little conscious that they're always on camera?
Man,
I mean, there's a large part that absolutely are not.
Yeah, maybe. I'd like to see the data. Can you pull that up?
Can you guys
Look
research
up,
that? Ask ChatGPT, are human beings getting better because of your help?
My buddy in college, I remember, got in a fight late night, pretty unprovoked, pretty out of nowhere, kind of embarrassing in retrospect. But he got in a fight with these guys, and I remember for the first time seeing somebody filming it with their phone. So I was like becoming a real citizen right as this stuff was starting to happen. There's only one time I remember that. And I walked over to the guy, hey, can you not film this? And he was like, oh, sure. Turned off his camera. Now it's the whole place would have had their phone out filming it. And maybe my friend's life would be different.
Yeah.
You know? He's a good kid.
Yeah, I know, right. You could be really messed up. I caught my cat the other day. I just was taking a video just because I wanted to show my daughter we have a pug and a cat, and the pug was walking by the cat, and they've been kind of like friendly lately, which is kind of funny. So I took out my phone and I just started video recording it, and the pug went by and the cat was like, and whack, swatted him in the ass, nails out, just boom. And I caught it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome.
I was like, yeah, even your behavior's shit.
That's great. Yeah, animals, film them all you want. Who cares about the animals? You know?
Do you have a dog?
We have 2 cats.
2 cats.
Yeah.
Do you want a dog?
I think when our daughter is old enough to help out in some kind of meaningful way, we could get a dog.
Yeah.
Right now, I just know I'm getting a dog, and I'm going to have to do all the work.
Yeah, for sure.
I
Cats
just know
are great.
that.
I really like cats.
Cats are they're low
chill.
maintenance in a lot of ways. Like I've had so many friends that they were like, "Oh, I got to go home and let the dog out and all that stuff." And they might have been using that as an excuse, but I do think a dog takes over your life in a way that a cat doesn't.
My advice to you is don't wait too long to get the dog in your daughter's life. because they start asking once they realize it's an option. They just start asking for a dog, and we said no forever. And then for some reason, we broke down, like when they were in high school.
Oh, that's
and now they're
right?
gone.
Yeah.
And these dogs are going to live for another 20 years.
Yeah, most of their lives with just you.
So now it's just the two of us, like not being able to travel.
Well, what's a good age, you think? 2 or 3, maybe they can they even
4.
know what it is?
4.
She's starting to like, our daughter's like starting to look at the cats, and like I can see her be like, oh, these are things walking up on me. So that's kind of fun.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to see, because the first cat we have, my wife had him before we were even dating. So this is just like a cat she got when she was a single girl, and now it's some kid's childhood pet.
Yeah,
so
that's
kind of fun.
That is fun. My daughter used to pin the cat when she when she was just able to walk, and she wanted to get the cat. She doesn't know how to pick up, so she would just pin it on the ground. The cat would be splayed out, and then she would slowly like scoop it up in her hands. And the cat was cool with it. Like, if the cat's not,
you never
cool.
had problems biting or anything like
No.
that. We were worried about that at first, and people were like, "You got to keep the cats separated."
Oh, really?
They've been nothing but. I mean, they were. A weekend they were snuggling up next to the baby and
Amazing.
stuff. Yeah, they love it.
Are you now that the special's out? Are you on the road more? Are you booking more? Are you going out with Nate? What's up?
I've got a few weekends with Nate coming up this summer. He's doing this like insane tour where I'm pretty excited. He's doing like Madison Square Garden and all this stuff. So
Amazing.
I'm not
This is
doing
Nate
that.
Bargatze for our listeners.
I'm not doing that with him, but I'm doing a few weekends with him coming up. But for the most part, I'm doing my own stuff.
What does he do when he goes to the garden? Does he take several guys, or does he?
My guess is he's just going to use a lot of New York guys.
Right.
Because I think a lot of the guys he uses are his buddies, headliners from New York. Mike Vecchione.
Right.
Graham Kay. Nick Thune. There's all the guys like that he knows.
How did you get in Nate's orbit? How did you meet him?
Nashville's a pretty small comedy scene. I just met him at an open mic once.
Oh, cool.
I remember when I first started, we'd all heard of Nate. He was kind of the guy. He's from Nashville, and he wasn't famous yet, but he had had an hour special on Comedy Central.
Right.
And so at the time, you're like, this guy's it's crazy.
Yeah.
And when he would do the Tonight Show or something, he'd come to Nashville and just run it at all the open mics. So I mean, that was like awesome for us open micers. We're like, Nate's coming, and he would do the set, and so we just met from around. And
cool.
Had a couple mutual friends, and then when COVID hit, we started doing the podcast together.
Right.
So
that's great.
It's been great, man. And then I've seen the trajectory of when the podcast started. He was just starting to do theaters. I remember, and now he's doing 3 shows at Madison Square Garden.
Now he's the biggest thing on the planet.
It's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, it's
pretty
so crazy.
and he's become a nightmare to work with.
I know. I've heard that. I've heard that, and that's weird because that's the next question. What is the worst behavior you've seen from Nate Bargatze on the road?
He's one of those guys. I think, Nate, if you're like a fan of him, and I've met a bunch of people like this, where he's who you want. He's who you want him to be. Like if you're a fan of him, he's exactly who he presents himself to be in his stand-up. And he'll do stuff now. It's crazy. He does stuff now that 5 years ago we would have talked about for an hour on the podcast, and he'll forget to bring it up. Like we were on the podcast recently, and he was like, "Oh yeah, I did. We didn't talk about SNL last week."
Right.
Where he had hosted SNL. It was like, for some reason, there's so much going on. We can't focus on all of it.
Yeah. Man, his SNLs are so great.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Really great sketches and stuff.
Yeah. He really nailed it.
It's exciting to have a close-up view of a lot of this.
Yeah.
know?
And how many years before you overtake him?
I think 4 to 5.
4 to 5?
Yeah. I
That's
anticipate his downfall soon.
Yeah.
And I think there's going to be a void. And I think I'm in a good position to snag
There's going to be a scandal. Here's another hard-hitting question.
I love it. Let's go back to the list.
Robe or sweatpants?
I thought you were about to say Roe versus Wade.
Roe versus
Let's
Wade.
get into it.
Gloves off.
Yeah. I'm neither in public. There's something in me.
In public? Wait.
There's something in me where I go, I can't wear sweatpants out of the house. I feel gross
There you go.
outside of the house.
Will you please tell these people?
Well, y'all have the body for it more. I can't. If I start wearing sweatpants in public, it's over.
Yeah, you got to be a little bit of a grown up.
Even on a flight, I think people fly very casually now. I still feel weird wearing sweatpants and like a t-shirt. I have to wear jeans or khakis or something. I don't know why.
I'm with you.
I just started to get into robes in hotels. For some reason, I felt not unworthy, but like I would feel silly putting on a robe. Right. But I feel like a robe, however you're feeling, a robe will intensify that. If you're in a really good mood and you put on a robe in a hotel, it feels pretty nice. Yeah. If you're sad and you put on a robe, everything's a little sadder, right? I did a weekend with Henry Cho. Do you know Henry Cho? Yeah. He took me on the road and still does occasionally, but he took me in very early on. I've gotten to go a lot of places with him and a lot of late nights like this, just sitting at a Waffle House or an IHOP. And so he took me to Vegas once, and I was in our hotel room, and they gave me a $20 room service credit. And I was, for some reason, I was feeling kind of sad. I was kind of lonely. I missed my wife or whatever. Yeah. And I go, I'm about to have a day here at this hotel. So I go put on the robe. I'm in a smoking room. So I go.
Are you a smoker?
No, I would smoke occasionally, but I wanted to get my room early, so I took a smoking room so I could check in early. Okay. Which, anyway, so I get there and I go, all right, about to have a day. I put on the robe. I ordered a piece of carrot cake from room service, and I moved the chair to the middle of the room right in front of the TV, and I put on a baseball game, and I lit a cigarette, and it was one of the saddest moments of my life. I thought, I'm about to have this triumphant moment, like I'm sitting on a throne or something, but it was, golly, it was so sad. I remember, like, this is pathetic looking. It's not even that nice of a hotel room.
Yeah. I know, but yeah, if you get into a suite, you can just put that.
I'm afraid of it.
If you're in a suite and you have a cigar, and a nice meal,
and you're with a buddy,
and you're overlooking the Vegas Strip,
100%.
Then the robe's like a different story. You're right.
Exactly.
You are right. Do you have a robe at home?
My wife does. No, I don't have a robe at home. I should get one.
Yeah, I went robe pretty early, I guess. Well, my kids were little, and I remember one time we would carpool with the family across the street, and for some reason we were all running late, and the carpool was out there, and it was like, our friends, and we all came out on the front steps, all in robes, because we were like, we're sorry, and he's like, what's with the robes?
Y'all doing a photo shoot or something?
What are you in a spa? What's happening in there?
Slippers too? I mean, the full look?
Yeah, the full look.
Wow.
You know what I've been doing lately with the robe, which is the robe sweatpants combo.
Wow.
Sweatpants,
it's the beginning of the end right
sweatpants, well, this is only in the house.
Okay.
I will walk to get the paper. I'll Tony Soprano's it.
Okay.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
And back to what you're thinking of not giving a shit what people think of you. I'm like, yeah, that's right.
Exactly.
I'm not putting on pants for you for the 2 seconds I got to pick up the newspaper. But yeah, because it's been chilly here in LA, which is like 60. Yeah. Sweatpants, t-shirt, robe over it.
Okay.
And extra layer.
Yeah.
You can open it up and you're not offending anyone.
There you go.
And yeah, it's been pretty fun.
It's smart. But you wouldn't fly in that outfit.
Oh my God. No.
Okay.
Jeans, regular jeans are my sweatpants.
Yeah.
I own one pair of sweatpants, and it's been in this robe combo. Okay. But even in the house, I really like jeans are really my sweatpants.
Okay.
And then yeah, no, I'm not an animal. Do you hunt?
I never have.
Really?
I've always wanted to. A lot of my friends did growing up. I would love to at some point. Do you hunt growing up?
Why do you not?
I think your parents have to. My parents just did.
Right.
My dad is a high school principal theologian who plays chess.
Are you Catholic?
Yeah. Oh, we're real Catholic.
Real Catholic.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why you went to Notre Dame?
Notre Dame, yeah. Went to Catholic schools for 13 years, kindergarten through college.
Really?
All Catholic schools, yeah.
Hey, did you ever go to the what's the Latin Mass in Nashville?
I've been to a Latin mass before. Yeah,
In Nashville,
at the cathedral.
it's downtown.
Yeah.
It was a smaller spot,
Okay.
but I went to go to Mass early, like at 8 a.m. And I had never been to a Latin Mass before.
Was it like the altar facing the other way too? Was
Yeah.
It, oh yeah, I love that.
Yeah.
That's like the pre-Vatican II stuff.
Yeah, it felt like, oh, this is like the real deal. This is unplugged.
It feels exactly
like they're singing
This
in
is
the
Alice in Chain unplugged.
yeah, and they're like singing in the back.
Oh yeah,
And it's like, but
great.
it's not tunes that we're all going to be singing. Like it's more like
No.
choral.
yes.
It was intense.
And it's nice. There's not the pressure to focus on every word. You know what I mean?
Right.
You can just kind of hang out. The rule in my house was if you overslept Sunday morning mass, my parents would make you go to the Spanish mass at 5 p.m. Because a Catholic mass is not necessarily about everything that's being said.
Yeah, it's get to
just
the
about
Eucharist.
being there, get to the Eucharist.
Right.
Exactly. So I would love going to the Spanish mass because it's the same mass, and I don't have to listen to the homily. I don't know. I'm just zoning out, dude. And the Spanish mass is fun because there's kids running around everywhere, the worst behaved kids. But it's like, this is great.
Yeah.
I just post up in the back, the only white guy there. I love it, dude.
recognizing every other word.
Every now and then I would hear, oh yeah,
Bonita.
Nosotros. That's Dios. There it is.
Still call it Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd never been to one before, and then I was raised Catholic, but it was never that. And then with the veils and it was just a lot more like these people were definitely more serious. It was
Or
dialed in.
women would have to have a covering over their head and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, which I didn't know was even a Catholic thing.
Pre-Vatican II, I think you had to.
Yeah.
You also had to fast for 24 hours before the Eucharist. There's a lot of that. Yeah.
Really? On
Now I think-
Saturday? A
now-
Saturday fast?
24 hours before the Eucharist, I believe.
Wow.
And then when I was growing up, it was 1 hour. It was what you were technically supposed to do. But
Right.
nobody does that.
Yeah.
We got to live life out here.
I know.
We can't
But if you go to Mass early, you usually don't eat before.
knock it out.
Then you kind of like do.
That's a good point.
Yeah, you're kind of doing the right thing without thinking about it.
Yeah.
So we do a
That's the
thing
best
on
way to do it.
we do a thing on this program called an uncomfortable moment.
All right.
And not that the rest hasn't been, but this is uncomfortable for two different reasons.
Okay.
One, we do research on our guests.
All right.
And one, you don't seem like the kind of guy that would have bought this car, and you also don't. If you don't hunt, I guess you have some explaining to do. Is that or not? Is that you or not in front of a Cybertruck with a dead deer in the back?
It took me so long to figure out where did I do this? I mean, that's an excellent. Whoever did you make that?
No, the internet gave it to us, and it's out there.
Oh my god!
I guess your little story about your friends being filmed during a fight. Some shit's happened to you as well out there.
What did I say? An antelope that I killed? What is it?
Yeah, it looks like you killed a bighorn sheep. Maybe.
My buddy's got a gazelle farm. I go out there and I just knock them out. That's hilarious.
What is more offensive to you, the Cybertruck or the dead deer in the back of it? Or are you cool with both?
I think the way my shirt fits in that picture, I think it's the most offensive part.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of, oh God, yeah, that was my golfing outfit for a while. I thought I was killing it in that picture.
You look good.
I've seen a lot of Cybertrucks in LA. I've only been here an hour, so I've seen a lot.
Yeah, there's a lot out
They're pretty
here.
rare in Nashville. You still notice when you see them,
I have a Tesla. Joe has a Tesla, but we're not the Cybertrucks. Mm-hmm. And my wife was asking, like, what are you going to... She keeps sending me the pictures of people getting their
Keyed and stuff.
and and all that stuff. And but there's so many out here.
No, it's the bumper stickers are the thing.
You got to get the bumper sticker.
Yeah, anti-Elon, Tesla, club.
Yeah.
And
Wait, so
sorry
you-
it's paid off.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
they
bought it in
put that-
2015.
Oh, it's like a defense mechanism.
Let people know that you know.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I do that with a Blue Lives Matter sticker on my car. I haven't been pulled over in years.
Yeah.
Would you hunt though? Would you ever? Have you ever done it?
You know, it's funny.
Deer or something? Just something basic.
I literally just wrote about this morning. I wrote that I never hunted, but I think it's the circumstances. Like, I'm not looking to hunt.
Yeah.
But I do have a feeling that I would not be bothered by pulling the trigger when I have an animal in my sights.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
No matter the animal.
But maybe that's the same thing. Like, you think you would survive a plane crash, or you think you could beat up everybody in a fight.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the same thing.
Yeah, I'd have to feel myself do it to know. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? I've never killed an animal before, outside of like insects and stuff. But like an animal that matters, I've never killed it. Never killed one.
Who's looking at you?
Yeah.
With your daughter looking at you from the back of the Cybertruck.
No, she's steadying the gun for me. You know what I'm doing?
Don't do it, Daddy. When my kids were little, my wife is a vegetarian, and my kids became vegetarians very quickly because of the way my wife would read the children's books to her. You know, it'd be like, and this is look at this little pig in a bow tie. Daddy eats those. What? What? That's what bacon is. What?
Yeah. Yeah, you know what? When
Kids aren't cool with it when she hear that.
when people explain it in that way, I actually I agree, but I'm still eating it. So maybe that's a real moral failure on my part, that I understand and even agree with the arguments against it, but still do it.
Yeah, but maybe you're just hungry.
Yeah. Yeah, I am.
I've been eating like a vegan for the last 3 weeks just for fun. Just to
Sounds like a hoot.
it's not fun at all.
Yeah. What are you eating?
Not a lot.
Okay.
A lot of bread.
There you go.
A lot of bread.
You know, one year for Lent, I tried to do 40 days with just bread and water.
Bread and water.
I thought a priest in our diocese did that for Lent one year and lost like 120 pounds. And
He was starving.
yeah, he was starving himself, just bread and water.
Yeah.
And I was like maybe a freshman in high school, and I thought this would be interesting to people if I were to do this for Lent. So I did it for maybe one meal, and then immediately my teachers like told my parents like, "Hey, your son's only eating bread and water. This is obviously a horrible idea, and you should." So it only lasted like one lunch, but I really built it up. Like, guys, I'm gonna lose so much weight, dude. I'm only eating bread and water, and like Wonder Bread, like sliced, like not even.
Yeah, right. Not even like a big hearty piece of
No,
bread.
no.
Just like a little shitty slice.
Yeah, like honey wheat. Yeah.
I love the idea of you just as a high school kid, just on your way home, knowing that these grown-ups are on the phone talking about your behavior. What is he doing?
Totally.
He's just eating bread and water.
Yeah, man, my dad's office is right down the hall, so they can. Just
he was
walk
he was principal in your school
at my high school.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Yeah, my mom was a teacher there too, so they were both.
Oh wow, they were
parents
both there. What was that like?
It was.
Did you
I
enjoy
never
it?
really knew anything different, so I
Right.
never thought of home and school as separate things. I know that sounds dumb, but it's like that's just how we grew up. So my siblings all the same way. It was just like dad's around.
Right.
You know?
Yeah, that's
And
cool.
My mom ended up retiring and then like teaching some in elementary school. So it was mostly my dad around all the time. So
Right.
if you got in trouble, like it was dad's office. Was down
Right. Yeah. That's funny.
know?
Go to your dad's office.
there. Yeah, it's pretty
What
crazy.
did you do?
If like
Did you ever get in trouble in high school?
Not in school. I did stuff outside of school, but I was pretty well behaved in school. I was a pretty like senior year especially. I was a pretty serious student.
Yeah.
Which looking back, maybe I should have had more fun. But when like stuff would happen at the school, we had a poop bandit my senior year.
A what?
A poop bandit.
P-O-O-P?
Poop. Somebody was smearing poop on like the bathrooms and like secretively, right? And like, the poop bandit. So my dad had to call the student body in and like yell at us a little bit. So it's like stuff like that's awkward where you're like, I gotta go my dad's gotta discipline It's my dad up there going, "These janitors are working on disrespectful to you, disrespect, all that kind of stuff."
Did it stop you?
What if I was going to reveal right now? It was me the whole time. I thought I'm the last person they'd expect. I don't know if they ever caught that guy.
Yeah, it's probably not.
But anytime something like that happened, it was, Dad would have to come down on it. But my friends are pretty great at like not projecting anything about him onto me. But my dad was he's a really good principal. He's been doing it forever.
Yeah,
I think he had a great relationship with a lot of the kids, and so there weren't as many problems as you'd think.
Right. Yeah. No, that's cool. That's cool. They were around.
Yeah.
Did he coach?
He did in my youth. He coached baseball, football, I think basketball a year or two.
Right.
When you get older and it's serious, he wasn't a coach. But like he had 8 or 9 year old kids. My dad was always the coach.
Right.
So that was a lot of fun. A lot of fun memories for sure.
Yeah. My dad was the coach all the time.
Who do you like thrown out of games or anything like that?
What's that?
You ever get thrown out of games? You ever argue with the umps?
One time in 8th grade, I was over emotional playing basketball, and I fouled out, and it was a rivalry between our school and this other school, and I fouled out, and I was just like, was just so upset with myself and just filled with whatever.
Yeah.
And I took the ball and went over to their captain and whipped it at his head.
Oh my God.
And simultaneously started screaming and crying at the same time. And they had to pull me off. And
yeah, you're done for the season at that point. I mean, that's
my dad was like, what was that?
I don't know. And was that so out of character for you at the moment? I guess it was just
yeah.
Baseball can
I
do
wouldn't
that,
really
man.
lose it. Basketball. That was basketball.
That was basketball. Yeah. Well, basketball can do that too. It's so much pressure, and they're right there, and they're like,
yeah. I know. In football, you can just kind of let it out just by hit somebody.
Football, you can mess up, and they didn't even really see it. You know what I mean? You're like, if you know what you're looking for, you can see that on film. But the crowd doesn't know I just messed up. The crowd doesn't know I whiffed on that block.
Right, exactly. Were you a tackle?
I played quarterback growing up. Quarterback growing up, and then gradually worked my way onto the line.
Because you were big.
I became I got fat. Big's not the word.
We got a fat quarterback.
Yeah, I played nose guard and center, so I was in the trenches.
Was there a popular fat quarterback in college recently?
Jared Lorenzen, the hefty lefty.
Right.
He rest his soul. Yeah, man.
Oh, really?
He passed away recently, but he was, an inspiration to every fat kid in America.
Yeah.
The guy moved on cat's feet, and he weighed like 300 pounds.
It was insane.
He played for the Giants. He has a Super Bowl ring.
Jeez.
And I remember a great quote. He was like third string. He was behind Eli Manning and I think somebody else. And he's like, I'm here in case something goes horribly wrong. And I thought, what a great mindset. He knows what he is.
Yeah.
He has no aspiration to be the starter. He's like, I'm here. I'm hanging out.
Jeez.
And he has a ring. And then he died.
How'd he die?
Well, I think he had all kinds of health problems. I think he had some real addiction problems with food and stuff. Yeah. So by the end, he was playing in some semi-pro league. There's great tape of it of him. He still could move and still could throw, but he was massive by the end.
Oh, he was.
So I don't know how exactly he died, but I'm guessing it's related to all that stuff.
Yeah, it's no surprise. Mm-hmm. Well, this is an interesting question for you. Who do you like more, God or the NFL?
Well, who do you think's bigger in America? That's who runs Sunday in America.
Yeah.
Now, it used to be the church ran Sunday everywhere, right? And they were the dominant cultural force in every town in America.
That's right.
And it doesn't feel like that's the case anymore, right?
Possibly because of the NFL.
Yeah. Now, in the South, I'll say college football still much bigger than the NFL.
Right, because they don't have great teams.
That's a good point. I mean, yeah, that's an interesting argument. But I grew up in Alabama. We didn't have a pro team.
Right.
So if you wanted to pick an NFL team, you had to pick Atlanta, which is 4 hours away, or I don't know.
It's like you're rooting for strangers.
Exactly. I have no identity with Atlanta. So, but Alabama football,
Roll Tide,
or Auburn football,
right?
That's the real professional sports.
Yeah.
So that's how I grew up.
Right.
So it wasn't until, and then we'd watch Peyton Manning
that's Saturdays.
play. Yeah, and that's Saturday. So that's your whole Saturday is
Right.
college football.
And then Sunday you can go to church.
Sunday, yeah.
There's no excuse.
Exactly. Yeah, what game are you missing?
Yeah.
We watch NFL, but it wasn't until I moved to Nashville where there was a team nearby that I was like, oh, now I have a reason to care about the NFL.
Right.
A lot. I still prefer college football. I just think it's so much fun, and it's slowly being corrupted and turned into something that's bad probably. But for now,
it seems like
it's fun.
I know. I was next to this guy on a flight, and he was a former NFL player, big lineman, and a really nice guy. And we were just talking it up, and he went off on a run about college football and what the money's going to do to it, and is already doing to it.
Yeah.
And how it's actually limiting the roster of D1 athletes because of the money.
Totally.
And then it's good for Division III because you have these guys, really talented guys that are showing up there. But he said like it's a minor league system now.
It used to be Alabama or these big programs would have 5-star recruits just sitting on the bench, like third and fourth string. And now they're like, why would I do this?
Yeah.
I can go to some mid-major school and make $1 million a year.
Yeah, they get paid.
Yeah,
Division III
they make more than the coaches. I mean, it's crazy. A lot of them do.
I know.
So it's a whole different thing.
I know. Are you into the NCAA tournament, the basketball?
I watch it every year. I'll be honest, I don't really follow college basketball until the tournament.
Yeah.
But then it's one of the most exciting sports things.
It is pretty great.
And it's happening during the work day. I remember when I had an office.
That's the best.
An office job, it was the best, dude, where we go, let's go, let's
to the
go
bar.
take a break. Yeah, you go out there and just watch
It's
it.
funny. I have this when I had worked in advertising for a minute when I was making my way out of school, and one of my favorite memories was St. Patrick's Day fell on the first day of the tournament, and we went to a bar just to go check it out and never went back.
Wow.
We were just so excited,
You
playing
quit the
hooky
job?
and getting hammered.
Quit the job?
No, I just got in trouble. And
What'd you do in advertising? Were you a copywriter? Or did you do...
mostly copy. It was small, so I would deal with some of the accounts, but
I
mostly
interned at a advertising place. I thought I was watching Mad Men at the time. I thought these guys are so cool.
Yeah.
And I'll say it's changed a lot, the industry, since Mad Men.
Yeah, not a lot of booze in the
No,
office.
it's just guys in graphic tees with Nerf guns and like medicine balls at their desk and stuff like that. Nice guys, but it's just a totally different.
Yeah.
I remember I worked with one of our, like McDonald's is one of our clients. I remember I knew a buddy, or I had a guy that worked there. One of our clients was Tecate. It's like a Mexican beer. Tecate. And at the time, they had this campaign where it was like bold. It's like be bold, drink Tecate. So his only job was on Facebook, people would comment, he'd have to respond using the word bold. And this is a guy's job that he did all day. Somebody'd be like, love this beer. And he'd be like, bold choice, Mark. And then somebody goes,
that was his whole job.
Gonna have a Tecate after work. That's a bold move, brother. Just that kind of. That's what advertising is now.
I think about that all the time, like with our podcast. Like we really should have dedicated people that are just online, just talking up Breaking Bread with Tom Papa.
There you go.
Like somebody, like you know what I mean. We can't leave it to chance. No one else is. We should have somebody just constantly on. Hey, did you see this episode?
Like a bot.
Like a bot, a human bot.
You can just buy some bots now.
Maybe we just get a bot. Can we just get a bot instead?
Yeah, cheaper to get a bot.
All right, then we're gonna get a bot. So who do you like more, God or the NFL?
I think God's probably top of the list. I guess. Like is an interesting word.
Bold.
For God. It's
Bold.
It's a bold choice. Bold choice, Tom.
Who do you? Yeah, but saying who do you like is kind of funny with God. Your belly button. Proud or ashamed?
It's interesting. It doesn't come up as much in my life as it used to. I used to think about it quite a bit. Because I was, when you're an overweight kid, you think about it like pool parties and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Or even like
Nightmare.
The locker room or something. Or like, you get pantsed or somebody rips off your shirt like in PE or something. You think about that at all. Now I'm married. I'll tell you, it smells worse than it's ever smelled. Sorry to put that out there, but it's
How
a
do
real.
you know that?
I get in there. I see what's going. I see what's going on. I clean it out now. I used to not have to clean it out, but then I read something about how you should clean out your belly button,
Right.
like Q-tip or your finger or something.
So it sounds like you went from ashamed to proud.
I can't believe I'm talking about this right now. Yeah, that's how proud I am now. I just don't care anymore. I'm married with a kid, dude. I'm not trying to impress anybody.
When my kids were little, they just discovered there's always stuff in Dad's belly button. And strangely enough, there's always like a piece of fuzz or something.
Yeah. Where's this coming
Something
from?
catchy. Yeah, like where is this
Piece of like red lint, and you're like, I haven't worn anything red in weeks. Like, what's going on in here? Yeah.
But you don't have an Audi.
No, I don't.
Those people are weird.
I remember those kids.
You have one, right?
No.
No, it's an innie?
John Stamos famously has a pretty crazy.
Oh,
Audi.
really? I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. These are the kind of things I keep track of.
Yeah. So you put out your special.
Yeah.
You're out on tour.
Yeah.
And you released a half-hour special.
It's a half hour, which I'm
smart.
I'm glad I did.
I'm glad you did too. I hope between you and Earthquake, I feel like we might be able to shorten up these sets a little bit.
Me and Earthquake are spearheading this thing.
Yeah. But really, like packed half hours, fun.
Yeah, it's really fun. And then it felt like I wasn't starting from nothing when I was back
Yeah.
out on the road. You know, because I'm doing in 45 to an hour on the road. So I was like, oh, I got stuff to
Yeah.
work with. And it was Nate was smart enough. Because I go, you know, I'm doing an hour on the road. I think I've got a pretty good hour. I can do it. He goes, dude, nobody, people don't even know you do comedy. And I go, it's a good point.
Right.
Because a lot of people are going
They
to
just
click
know
me
you
on
from the
me,
podcast.
have never heard of me. So
Right.
it's a lot to ask somebody to watch an hour of somebody they've never heard of
Yeah.
and have no relationship with. So
Yeah.
it's like
Well, the cool
20
thing with YouTube too is you can make it whatever it's supposed to be.
That's true. It doesn't have to fit commercials or
No.
anything. Yeah. It can
Yeah.
be 35, 40 minutes. Yeah. Who cares?
Whatever the set is, it is. Mm-hmm. Well, good for you.
Thanks, man.
Yeah. And now you're going to be out on tour, and then you'll bang out the next one.
That's right. Hopefully, man.
It's really great.
It's been a lot of fun.
Last question. You're in LA. You are staying with friends or in a hotel?
In a hotel.
In a hotel. All right. What do you think's going to happen to this bread?
I think I'm going to eat almost all of it before my flight Thursday.
All right.
How do you recommend I eat this? I can bite into that like an apple. I don't know if there's like a disrespectful way to eat that.
I think in a hotel, I think you're not going to have a good knife, so a tear situation's fine.
Yeah.
What I would recommend...
Should I dig it out and put a soup in it? I'm kidding. Sorry. Oh my goodness.
Almost ended the whole thing. It was going so well.
I don't eat soup.
No, what I would recommend is when you stop off at whatever you're going to do to get some rations for the room,
Yeah.
get a little cheese.
Okay. What kind of cheese?
A little anything.
Cream cheese?
Well, wouldn't be bad.
Yeah.
But just
So like
like
some
I'm thinking
brie or something?
like brie or a cheddar or something like that, and get the hotel to give you a little knife, and just eat this with cheese.
That sounds
and
unbelievable.
you'll be good.
That sounds unreal. Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
unreal. I'm excited.
All right.
Thank you for that, man. That's
You're very
awesome,
welcome.
man.
I think it might be
appreciate
the best one I've made in a month.
Really?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, it is for sure. Thank you, man.
Thanks for being here.
Of course, dude.
Continued luck.
I appreciate it.
And come back anytime.
Awesome.
All right. We got it, kids.